Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. I've got Anderson and Josie helping me restock the roadside stand down here. We got cleaned out this weekend. This is probably the third time we've had to restock it. And I did a video a week or two ago talking about how we had some issues with theft down here. Well, I've got to tell you the good along with the bad. And this weekend we actually had somebody overpay for some wood. I think we had probably $40 worth of wood missing out of the stand at one point, and I came down here and there was $100 in the box. So we have had somebody, I don't know if it's somebody that watches the channel, that saw that video that said that we had somebody take some wood that felt bad and came and gave us some extra money to make up for it. But yeah, we've had that happen once or twice where somebody might leave like a $5 or $10 tip or something like that, which is always nice and appreciated. But this was the first time we've had somebody leave, you know, more than double the amount of wood that was taken out of here. But that brings me to my next point. I've had Anderson down here helping me restock the stand since he started kindergarten, and because of that, I started paying him, and we needed a place to put his money, so I made him go show him what I made you and tell him what it is. So what is it, Anderson?
My dad got me a piggy bank.
Yeah? Show him the top of it. Open it up. Show him what you got in there.
Okay.
What do you have in there?
Money.
Yeah. So every time we come down here and restock the stand and somebody leaves dollar bills or change or something like that in the money box, that's what I'm using to pay my helper here. But my whole idea with this roadside stand was when we had kids, I wanted to use this as like a small business idea to teach them about the value of money and working for stuff. And so the next time Anderson says that he wants a Lego set, I'm gonna say, well, let's go to your piggy bank and we'll see how much money you have to pay for it. And I just think it's a really good way to teach kids that money doesn't grow on trees and you actually have to work for things. You can't just ask for them and they magically appear. Now, Josie, on the other hand, she's only 3. She's still a little bit young to be grasping the concept of money, but I think Anderson at 5 can start understanding what it all means. We had a discussion the other day about pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, $5, and he doesn't understand basic arithmetic yet, but this is all part of the journey, right? Now, something else I want to talk to Anderson about is, do you want to get paid your dollar when we come down here and restock it, or do you want to get paid your dollar when we come down and get money out of the money box? Because there's a difference.
Get the money out.
That's the right answer, because if you get paid when you're doing the work, you're an employee. But if you're getting paid when we're taking money out of the money box, you're an owner.
Yay!
There's a difference. You want to be an owner, right? Not an employee? There you go. Start our little entrepreneurship program here young. Anyway, that's just a little glimpse of me teaching my kid about money. I remember growing up, my dad did the same thing for me. And then when I was probably 10 or 12 years old, he got me into mowing lawns for the neighbors. And it just gets your brain working a different way. But we're gonna get back onto this project here of widening out this driveway for our 20 by 20 lean-to shed. And I don't know if you noticed when we were walking by, but I've got a new attachment for the mini skid that I'm really curious to see how well it's gonna work. This is a 6-way dozer blade made by Martatch. It is made in Canada. If you're not familiar, Martatch and Baumalight work very closely hand in hand. I think when you get one of these, if you get a set of pallet forks or a bucket for it, they are made by Martatch. Really good company. We've been happy with all of our attachments so far. I'm curious to see how this thing is gonna work on a mini skid. Obviously, a dozer is an incredible tool, but there's a lot of things that go into making a dozer an incredible tool, and that is the length of the tracks, the weight of the machine, all of that stuff here. And so with this, we've got shorter tracks. This machine only weighs about 3,400 pounds. So I'm kind of curious to see how well this smaller machine with a 6-way dozer blade on it is gonna work. So obviously the loader will lift it up and down. You've got a side swivel here so you can windrow the dirt off to the left or off to the right. And then if you notice, there is a small little tilt cylinder there that will allow you to put a slope on it left and right as well. So that's why there's the 6-way. So because I don't know how well this is gonna work, we're gonna go ahead and start with just peeling some of this gravel off to start with. That way we're saving all of this good gravel, and then we can start pushing dirt out and moving it over there. What I wanna do is I actually wanna take a lot of this excess fill dirt that we're gonna be bringing out and making a kind of like a switchback trail that goes down on this hill here. I don't know if you can tell, but that's a pretty steep hill. And especially in the wintertime, there's no way that you're gonna be making it up here with any piece of equipment if there's snow on the ground. So I wanna make kind of a more gentle slope going down that way if I need to get up here in the wintertime. But yeah, let's see how this thing works. I've already played with it a little bit to see what the controls are. So obviously your joystick here, this is up, this is down, this is tilt left, tilt right. And then in order to get it to actually tilt this way, I forget the names, tilt, pan, all that stuff, but you actually have to push this button here, which is basically a diverter, and then this now redirects the flow to tilting it this way instead of this way. So it's not going to be as easy as a regular dozer blade, because on a regular dozer you have all of that functionality in one control and you never have to take your hand off of the stick. But with this setup, we will have to push this button in order to change our tilt this way. All right, so what have we learned so far just pushing this little bit of gravel up? Well, one, this is not a 6-way blade, it's actually an 8-way blade, because I forgot you also have the curl function of the loader as well. So you can pivot that loader down a little bit more if you want to cut more aggressively and bite in, or you can tip it back if you just want to do more of a smoothing motion. Now, the one thing I will say, I like that this Baumalight mini skid has an auto leveling function on the loader. So as you raise it up, if you've got pallet forks or a bucket or something, it'll keep your load level. However, when you bring it up, it automatically curls down, and it only does it on the way up. So when you bring it back down, it is constantly tilting forward a little bit. So when you're running the dozer blade, you just have to remember every time you lift up and then put it back down on the ground, you've got to curl it back if you want to keep it at this same angle that it's at. So I don't like the auto leveling feature. I wish there was a way you could turn it off when you're running something like a dozer blade, because it does get in the way. And if you forget to do that, now you're gonna be biting in pretty aggressively into the ground and starting to create those dirt bike whoops in what you're trying to smooth out. But I was very pleasantly surprised with how well the mini skid actually did at pushing material. Now, granted, it's all, you know, loose gravel up on the surface, so it wasn't the hardest job in the world. What I want to do now is grab the excavator and start digging out this hillside and placing all of the material on that ramp that we're going to be putting in there. And then I will use the mini skid to go ahead and shape it up with that dozer blade. All right, I think that's gonna about wrap it up for what I'm gonna get done here today. Not my finest work. I'm in a bit of a rush here because Anderson's about ready to get off the bus. I'm gonna have to redo this a little bit. I did not dig that little culvert pipe down as deep as it needed to be. I did not account for, you know, I'm raising this side up, but I also need to dig this side down. And now that that culvert pipe is in there, I can't dig it down anymore. So I kind of had to curve it as I'm coming off there, where I really wanted this to be a straight shot. So I'm gonna have to come in here, dig this pipe back out, rework this a little bit. I'll come in here and clean up the edges over here a little bit more. And then obviously we'll come in here and top dress all this with some stone. But yeah, it's just baby powder out here. We need to get some rain, get all this stuff to pack in a little bit. I tracked it in with the tractor tires a little bit, but that pretty much did nothing because it's all just still too dry. Powder doesn't pack. So shape this up here a little bit. And yeah, we got our little pile of stone here. We're gonna need more. This isn't gonna be enough to top dress all this again, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. This is significantly wider now. I know when I first put this in, I tried to pull up that way and back my dump trailer back down in here with a load of stone when I brought all this stone in, and it was too narrow that I couldn't swing out around that way and back a dump trailer in here. And now I think it's plenty wide enough. I got plenty of room to swing a dump trailer or get the tractor in. The whole reason for this project is because I want to utilize some of this space within this 20 by 20 lean-to shed for my own personal stash of firewood. I'd like to have 4 to 6 IBC totes of wood at any given point throughout the winter up here. That way, if we get some big crazy snowstorm, I've got easy access to get up here, get to it. It's not covered in snow. I can pull it out and easily get it inside either the shop or the garage. And before, this was just too steep, too narrow, all that kind of stuff to be able to get equipment up in here, especially if you've got a foot of snow on the ground. Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna about wrap this one up. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the mini skid with a 6-way dozer blade. I do think that the learning curve on that is pretty steep. I am nowhere near a proficient bulldozer operator, let alone a 6-way dozer blade operator on a mini skid. That being said, it did impress me with how well the mini skid was able to push. So yeah, I've got some learning left to do. I think I can definitely get a lot better at that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.